My name's Sam Wells, and I'm the vicar of St Martin in the Fields Church in central London, and I'm also visiting professor of Christian ethics at King's College London. I'm looking forward very much to joining you in Ottawa at St Matthew's in the Glebe on the 30th and the 31st of January of 2014. I know it's going to be cold, but I'm looking forward to your warm hospitality. I really want to talk about three ideas. The first is that we are captivated by the notion of scarcity, that we feel that there aren't enough resources, there isn't enough information, there isn't enough wisdom, there isn't enough revelation, and deep down, I suspect, all of that's based on the fear that there isn't enough God. Whereas in fact, the truth of the gospel is that there's actually too much God. And what we struggle with is we become drowned by the too muchness of God, by the abundance of God. And I want to explore with you what it means to receive the abundance of God, even in our circumstances that we take to be scarcity. More specifically, moving to the second point, I'd like to look at the ways that when we assume our role is to work for the poor and the disadvantaged, that taps into our notion of scarcity, because they seem to be just another drain on our resources. Whereas if we shift our attention, if we're converted to the idea not of working for the poor but of being with the poor, then we come to see the poor as God's gift to us, who fill us with abundance. And then the last idea is one of how we don't live our lives as Christians or as churches from a script, however much we trust the Bible. We actually have to learn to improvise, to have our characters so formed that we improvise as communities to the unexpected circumstances that come our way. Now, I know there's a lot of anxiety in your diocese, as there is in many dioceses, about smaller congregations and about shortage of money in rural and urban areas, but I also know there's tremendous passion to be involved in issues around homelessness and around child poverty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest 2 or 3 books for you to read through the fall to get ourselves all on the same page for what we're going to talk about in January. And then when I come over, I'm going to offer 2 or 3 lectures on what it means to grow your church's mission out of what we might perceive to be its places of scarcity, and to see its challenges, including its financial challenges, as opportunities to improvise in the power of the Holy Spirit. One of the things that fascinates me is the 30 years that Jesus spent in Nazareth, simply being with us. Yes, he worked with us in Galilee, yes, he worked for us for a week or so in Jerusalem, but what about those 30 years when he was just being with us in Nazareth? I want to suggest to you that those years can become the heart of our mission. There's going to be seminars on different topics around these questions too, and the plan at the moment is for me to come back in the fall of 2014 after about 9 months or so, for us all to get together and compare notes about how you've got on with the ideas that have been generated in our conference in January. One thing you may not know about me is that I was actually born in Chatham, Ontario. And so even though I haven't spent a lot of time in Canada over the intervening years, by being with you in January, I'm actually going to be coming home, and I'm very much looking forward to that.